I'm ready whenever you're ready.
Okay, I am ready. Brian, hello and welcome. It's really so cool to be speaking to you again. Um, I've been waiting so long for this new wave of ThunderCats to come out, and it's finally here, and it's finally time to talk about it. So, how are you? And tell me everything that's going on. Just don't take too long.
Wait, is that about Thundercats or about me? Like,
We can talk about you afterwards.
yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the priorities here. No, obviously, we've been talking about the pre-order and the launch of this latest wave of Thundercats for a long time, ever since it sort of debuted on the cover of Toy Collector. So you have uh, Vulture Man and the Sky Cutter, and it's a long time coming, and then everybody's like, where's the next wave? And, some of that stuff may have already gotten leaked. Some of it may not be accurate. You never know. So there's some different things. Plus, then we have something special planned for the 14th. And we got San Diego Comic-Con. There's a lot of Thundercats excitement coming soon to a mobile device near you.
Yes, definitely. It sounds like this is going to be a busy year, a busy summer for ThunderCats. So,
Yes, it's a busy
ThunderCats is
summer for
now
Thunder.
it's officially joined your Ultimates lines of TMNT, which has already reached its 13th wave. Now, I'm not even counting these mini waves or in betweens for Thundercats, but these two are your longest running Ultimates waves. What does this demand for Thundercats say to you?
It's an interesting sort of place. Thundercats are very solid for us. I think, we're really getting into some deep cuts. So you're really down to just the diehards. There's not a lot of casual people showing up for some of this stuff. So it's still solid. It's still good. There's still a great fan base. We're still completely behind it. Is it, the juggernaut that it maybe once was? Not quite the same, but uh I don't that all sounds really weird and odd. Thundercats has a great fan base, and I'm going to continue making as much as I can for Thundercats. I think we've talked about it enough over the years that there's also a much larger group of people that really just want to focus on core characters, Lion-O, Mum-Ra, the main crew, and then that's sort of a different thing. And that's really where we've taken the deluxe line, is to really satisfy that collector. So coming back to your question, I guess, is that the demand is still there, and Thundercats is still a really great property, and obviously we're continuing to support it like crazy. But I think it's really sort of become two different collectors now. We've got the person that's still interested in what we're doing at Ultimates level, and then the person that's really looking at what we're doing at the deluxe level.
Okay, because I've actually seen some very recent posts from collectors in the UK who's also been getting the deluxe figures from one of your affiliates there, and they are loving it. They are so excited to finally be getting their hands on these figures because it sounds like a lot of people, and we've talked about this, a lot of people sat out the initial waves. They wanted to see how far it went, and then when they couldn't get their hands on it, it was like going crazy trying to pay these just absolutely bonkers prices on the secondary market, but now they have the opportunity to get back, and they are raving about these figures, which is wonderful. I mean, I've got both the deluxe and the ultimates here, and well, I love them. I love both of them. They're each unique, and we'll talk about the deluxe in a bit. But I'm just glad that you're giving people the opportunity to get back in if they missed it out, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
important to get those still.
well, and that's the thing. It's, for a lot of people too, they don't want to buy it online. They want to walk in the store and buy it. And you can't really do that the same way with Ultimates. That's much more of a collector specialty shop. And maybe you do live someplace that has that, but they're much more few and far between versus being able to walk into a Target or a Walmart or whatever and pick something up off the shelf. So simply having that availability is extremely helpful. And I think there's a lot of people that are just they knew it existed, but because it didn't intersect with their world, meaning they couldn't walk into the store and buy it, they didn't collect it. And now that they can, they're getting in. So I don't know. It feels pretty good.
Good. Well, I mean, I was like that when you guys got involved with the Motu Club Grayskull and Classics back in the day. Um, I knew about the figures from Mattel, but I just didn't get into it until you guys came aboard, and I was like, shit, I have to go and get the first wave from them, and then I was there from day one when you guys started. But it was such a mission to actually get them, and because I lived abroad, it was very, very, very expensive to get those. So I do understand that the demand is there, and thank you for making that available again. So on new stuff that is that we've got out now is Wave 13. Tell me,
Yep.
was it always the plan to include the toy recolor of Vulture Man with a sky cutter?
Yeah, obviously if you're making the Sky Cutter, like when we made Mandora, we made Mandora cycle. You make Mandora to ride on it. When we got the Sky Cutter, we're like, who's going to ride on it? Well, we don't necessarily want to just remake a figure we've already done, but people are asking. There are, a lot of people that do want all the recolors and the variants, and so we're like, this is a really good time to bring on Vulture Man in his recolor. If you don't want that, you don't need to get it. You can just get the Sky Cutter. But if you are that person, it's like, oh, this is a great time. I get a vehicle and a figure to go on it. So it's kind of six of one, half dozen of the other. It's a good time for a recolor rather than as if it was one of the figures just in a core wave. I think people would just be like, that's a slot I could have used for somebody else. Where this is like, no, 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 it goes here and either you get it or you don't. Like it's okay. Like we know that the main draw right now is Sky Cutter.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing when you mention that, but the argument is often there. You could have used this slot for somebody else. So this you've said
Oh yeah,
before that
I'm aware.
when there are other toy recolors, you said that in the future there will be one here or one there and so on. And I speak for those of the collectors that love these toy recolors. Can we at least expect to complete the core batch of ThunderCats of the toy recolors?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about the core batch being. They made a
Well,
lot of toys. Like
oh
how
yes,
many
no, no. There's quite a few of the Ultimates that are actually quite close to the vintage toys.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the core cast, the main Thundercats and the main mutants. We don't need so many. We have a few already. So just give us the like the other
Which ones do
four
you
or
think
five.
you still need?
I'll tell you afterwards. I did. I'll send you a mail.
Here's my list,
Yes, yes.
30
So
figures long. This is the core team.
okay, no, okay, and then we'll get to the prototypes and all of that as well. So there will be
Sure.
a B list. Um, Talking about me contacting you now, I um I have I don't know if you know this. So I had the privilege of sort of consulting on the Sky Cutter
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
way back. It was actually it was a fun experience for me as well because I spoke with Kyle. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his surname because I know I'm going to do it wrong.
Wadaga. It doesn't
No,
look like it's spelled. It's Wadaga.
no. um, and we were talking about the those buzzsaws that's rotating on the edge of the wings.
Yep.
And I actually went to I grabbed my DVDs and I filmed it in the episode the Fireballs of Plandar where you actually see that they are working. And that was like really so exciting just to be part of something. And I've been sitting on this since April last year. So it's
Well,
so
that's how
good.
long it takes sometimes.
Yes, you said that you work way ahead. You're working on stuff now that we'll probably see in a year or 2 years. So
Yeah.
I would like to ask you because I have to say it has been very difficult to just keep quiet about this. How do you keep a straight face? Um, which you've
Because
done many times.
everything that we're making, I can't talk about. It's not just Thundercats, it's
Yes,
everything.
yes, I
So it's
understand.
like,
So
it used to be more of a problem because I was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody all the time. And now I've just gotten used to the fact that I just can't talk to you about it till later. So it's just
Well,
like, okay, they just gotta wait. Just gotta
I
wait.
I've caught you out several times, but only in hindsight, and that was rather fun. So to everybody watching, just check Brian's responses now for any questions that he's ducking and diving, so that we can see what we're gonna get.
Yeah. Where I'm, nah, nah, yeah, I can't really, that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But thank you for finding the vintage reference because we were talking about, just the mechanics of making sure that they spun correctly and that they retracted properly and how far and what a lot of that stuff you want to make sure you get 100% right. And we're scrubbing through stuff and it's like sometimes we can't find the reference, but we'll go to a subject matter expert and say, "Hey, do you know where this is?" And of course, Eggman was like, "Hold my beer.
that's it.
Here it is. I got it for you right here." So
That's it.
there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you. So talking
See
about this,
now that that's out there in the open, that you helped us with that, everybody's gonna now claim that this is all these interviews are BS and that you're just a shill. So
okay, I'll delete everything and we'll start again. No, hey Brian, how's it going? So, um, talking about the Sky Cutter, this is
yep,
not your standard average vehicle. It's got wings that move and wheels that fold out, and there's retractable buscles, like you've said. There's
yeah,
an interchangeable seat. I suppose it's to sit different types of characters on it with their backs. And there's also a flight stand that it's interchangeable itself. You can take it out. It looks
yep,
like in the video.
yep.
And there's a laser cannon effect. Tell us about the design process, and how this vehicle is going to operate. I mean, do the wings like click out to stay put? I don't know.
Um, there is a click at the end, I believe, but that they're smooth in between. There's not a ratchet joint, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
But there is a final resting spot so that they click into place because you don't want them to sag over time or gravity to pull on them or whatever. So I believe that there's one click at the end, but it's smooth in between.
Okay. And then it can stand on without the stand when the wheels are out.
Yeah, when the wheels are out, it can. Yes. And then the stand is obviously to make it look cool.
So in,
Action.
in in terms of the color of the vehicle, now there's been some pictures that's got it looking blue, and then there's some that's gray. I know saturation has an impact and so on when you work with photographs. Can you confirm what's the color?
It's gray. It's gray.
It's gray.
It's gray. I think, obviously when you're making grays, your gray is either going to tint red or tint blue. Uh, it can tint green in some cases. So I think what you see a lot of is in the video, depending on how they color corrected the whole thing and what they did, you'll see some more blue tint to it. But the figure, the the toy is gray,
Okay.
matches on screen, although we can all find a rip someplace that's in a different color depending on any number of other things, but that's usually just a color shift off gray.
Okay. We haven't seen the packaging yet of the Sky Cutter.
No, we're gonna have a packaging reveal. I wish I could tell you the exact date, um, but I don't know it. I
Okay.
apologize for not having it for you, Egmont.
But it's like, I mean, it's probably going to be similar to the Electrochargers packaging, the design, the
Yes,
box. Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I've noticed some of the collectors have been rather unsure whether they could buy the Sky Cutter separately from the Vulture Man figure. I know
Yeah,
it's
I think I
available
think
separately.
because I think because it's listed as a pair first before it's listed individually. But of course, yeah, you can buy the Sky Cutter by itself, or you can buy Vulture Man by yourself, or you can buy them both together and get a lovely little pack. Um, but yeah, of course you can buy the Sky Cutter separately. We never
Okay.
make it to you where you have to buy everything.
Okay. So you see, folks, you can buy it separately. You don't have to worry about buying Vulture Man if you don't want him. You can buy it on its own. So
Or you can buy 5 Vulture Man and no Sky Cutter. That's also
yes,
okay.
yes, or five Sky Cutters because I know quite a lot of people want to buy a few.
Yeah, the army build your sky cutters, and then you can have a whole battle scene raging above your cat's lair.
So, so talking about Cat's Lair, you see mine has finally arrived.
Yes.
Um, it took a while to get here, but it came here perfectly. I was so happy with how it arrived. I know there has been some issues with shipping locally in the US, but you know how far mine has traveled. I mean, it's
Yeah.
gone thousands of miles, and I have no complaints. Everything's working. Everything's fine, and there's no special
Great.
treatment because I didn't buy it from you directly. I got it from somebody else as a nobody. I'm a nobody. I'm just a fan. I'm just a collector, and it just arrived here perfectly. And I'm like really happy with it.
Most of
So
them did. I mean, I think the reality is, you know, let's just say we made 1,000 of them. Just say we made 1,000 of them. And if it was 10% that were damaged, that would be 100. If it was 1%, that would still be 10. So, we had on what we made, it looks like we have about a 0.5% damage rate, but it's still like,
end of the world.
40, 50 people,
Yeah,
and so people are like, it's just insane how many there are. And it's like, yeah, there's stuff that we need to replace and there's stuff that we need to fix, but it's compared to how many we made, it's not theoretically that bad, but it at $600 or 750, you just don't want anything to be wrong with it, which is a completely valid uh response. It's just whether or not that can be 100% realistic, not completely, especially when people are putting forklifts through the side of the boxes.
yeah. That is unfortunate, and that's I understand. I mean, these boxes are massive, so they
Yeah.
really are huge, and it is heavy. I had to have somebody help me carry it into the house, so it is huge. So I understand if it happened either by accident or whatever it was, but I'm just
Yeah, yeah, and we're almost, I think they ship very soon, like all the replacement parts for people, because we didn't make a whole lot of extras for it. So we're working on that part.
okay. So that is coming for those who's
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah.
replacements and
Yeah.
so on. Okay. Now, we talked about the sky cutter flying above Cat's Lair, but when you think about the sky cutter, you also think about the nose diver. Now, I know you mentioned
You're just like,
that
well, I haven't even got my sky cutter in hand. Where's my nose diver?
is that I know it with especially when you think about slides fitting into it, that is just not going to work the
Like
way
it
that the
works in the
humans.
cartoon only?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So is that something that you're gonna look at based on the sales of the sky cutter, or
I mean,
um,
we'll see how the Sky Cutter does and sort of go from there. We've been pretty methodical about how some of those things come out, and it's been a while since we did the electrocharger. And now, obviously, it's the Sky Cutter. You know, it's it's sort of taking our time with it and making sure people are still interested and excited, and then seeing how it goes. I'm not opposed to making any of the vehicles, quite frankly. But it is more just like, okay, let's get the sky cutter out. Then once we do that, we can talk about the next thing.
okay. Okay. Well, that's good news. That's good news. So,
So you're telling me there's a chance?
there is a chance. Thank you. So this wave is different in the sense that there is no super pack with this wave.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there a reason why there is no super pack?
Well, it's only two pieces. It's really centered around the vehicle, and the vehicle is more expensive. And if there was a piece of the vehicle that you could only get that was because you bought the Vulture Man, I really kind of felt like that was being a bit disingenuous. So that's why we ended up not, because really the star of the wave here really is about the Sky Cutter and not about the group of figures. So that's why.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. Let's talk about the pricing now. This new vehicle is like 30 or 35 more than what the electrocharger was,
Yeah.
and the figure is $10 more than before. Is this the new rate for standard figures going forward?
Um, I think what you're going to see more than anything as we go forward is just you're going to see we still don't know where tariffs are going to land. Like right now they're at 30%. I love it when people say, "Oh, well they're down to 30%." And it was like they were at 0%. So, it's everything we're making is 30% more expensive than it used to be. There's that. The 30% that they're at today doesn't mean that that's where it's going to stand because when he made it 30%, it's been about 60 days. That was only for 90 days. They were supposed to have a deal worked out some of that. Vietnam just finished their deal. It just got announced yesterday, Tuesday. Say it was Tuesday. I think that the Vietnam one finally got, but Vietnam was 10% up until last Tuesday. Now Vietnam's finalized at 20%. So we don't know where it's going to be, but we have to assume it's going to be at least 30%. And so we've got 30% built in based on all the costs and everything. And it's not like in that time along the way, things are getting any cheaper at the same time. Like, uh, if anything, things are getting more expensive overseas along with it because with reduced volume, it's not like, well, they better get better prices to get more work. It's like they have to charge more to get to where they were because they've got less work. So as a whole, just things are getting more and more expensive. Do I want everything to be at 65? Not necessarily. Doesn't mean like that's unfortunately going to be the new normal though, is probably, but we don't know. We don't know until it's finalized and on paper, in law, however it may be. We're looking at everything we can to keep prices down as much as possible, but especially when you're talking about vehicles with all the extra articulation and everything, uh, it's expensive. There's no way around it. Uh, yeah, I don't have a better answer other than like, yeah, it's expensive out there.
Mm. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you have no control of it. You need to adjust as it goes, and until it's done, then you'll know. But it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah,
go
and
with.
we have to assume this is what it is as of today because that's what it is.
Mm,
Uh, but it could be more a week from now. We have no idea. It
yes.
could be less, and if it's less, we'll drop things back down. But
We'll see. We'll see. We'll get there. So you were brave enough uh, uh, to share a statement about how this has affected Super 7, and you
terrible.
mentioned you mentioned that you would be making some changes going forward. So the first thing that I heard was ThunderCats is dead. That's the first thing I heard. But I mean,
Why would ThunderCats
clearly,
be dead?
exactly, clearly it's not dead. But
No.
surely this situation means that your original plans have been changed.
Things are going a bit slower. We had to, we had to get smaller to make sure that we could survive on what was going there. I mean, we lost so many orders from things not being able to hit shelf or hit price anymore. Uh, Things for later in this year because margins weren't there for the retailer anymore. Uh, and then you had millions of dollars in unexpected tariffs. Like, I don't know about you, but you know, I don't have millions of dollars just laying around in my bank account doing nothing. So when all of a sudden stuff like that happens, like what can you do? So, and then on top of that, there's the triple whammy of like things are so crazy, stop shipping stuff. Well, the moment you stop shipping, that's a 45-day lag to the port, another 15 days to the warehouse, so 60-day lag. That means 60 days from now, no revenue's coming in.
Yes.
So it's you get hit multiple places and it's really rough. And then people will be like, oh, but some of these other toy companies didn't have layoffs, but they did. They just did them in different ways, or they weren't public about it. Funko, I think, had 3 rounds of layoffs. McFarlane laid people off very early and didn't really make a talk about it much. Uh, I know with some of the bigger toy companies that they were like, we're not going to have formal layoffs, but we're not going to do anything we can to retain people, and hope and just let attrition take people out rather than hiring people to fill in positions. There's a lot of like, PR wrangling around what people do, but I mean, the worst one, and I think if anybody's watched other interviews they've heard, is like we had when Turtles, the first wave of 2003 Turtles hit, uh 145% is what happened. And with
Mm.
when he moved from 10 and then 10 to 30, anything that was on the water already and already been shipped was exempt. That point, things that were already on the water and coming into the port were not exempt. It was just like, no, I don't care that you shipped it when it was 30. Now it's 145. I mean, we had a $498,000 tariff bill on one delivery. And they don't bill you at our size. They just take the money out of your bank account. So,
Okay.
oh, yeah, I
That's
just
rough.
took $498,000. Like, how do you plan for that? How do you budget for that? How do you work around that? You can't. So I hate to belabor the point. I think everybody would be like, that's old news. That's from February and March and April. It is, but it's not resolved. It hasn't finished yet. And that's the hard part. Yeah, we're in July, but this tariff thing is still going on and still not resolved. Um, and it's going to take a while. And it's the tariff happens when it hits the port in the United States. So China doesn't pay for any of it. We pay for
Yes.
it. And
Yes.
then if we have to pay for it, then you have to pay for it. Like there's not like extra margin running around. It's like, I don't know. It's really, really frustrating because I feel like we had a good thing going, you know, but we'll see what happens.
So, so what I want to know is how can fans help keep ThunderCats alive? What can we do?
Well, I mean, obviously the biggest part of keeping something alive is supporting it and buying the product when it comes out. Supporting the pre-orders really helps because then we don't have to guess how many people want it, you know. Um, yeah, it's just continuing to support the lines, and everybody's like, oh, it's getting more expensive, it's getting more expensive. But everything in your life is getting more expensive. Inflation is continuing to move. Like even if it moves at, say, inflation moves at an average, isn't it the national average like 3% a year? I think that's what it is. So if we had a $55 toy and it went up 3%, then it would go up 55 cents. No, what am I saying? $1.65. So it'd be $1.65 one year, it'd be $1.70 the next year, $1.75, $1.80 after that. Like just 5 years of natural inflation would move it from 55 to 65 just by itself.
Mm.
So inevitably those creeps are coming anyways, much less when you compound it with tariffs, when you compound it with everything else. So I feel like we're spending too much time on the negative here. I want to talk about the fun stuff, Eggman.
Yes.
Come on.
Okay. Yes. Well,
So
thank you
what
for
can you
that
do?
insight.
Please support the line. Pre-orders make a big difference. Buying it from our site makes a big difference. But, you know, support the line and we'll continue to make the line as long as we can.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So, the this has probably affected the future of SilverHawks as well. Um,
Everything's just slowed down a little bit. Yes.
okay. And we spoke previously when you said that there's going to be another vac metal figure for SilverHawks, and another wave. What is the latest on when we can expect the next wave of SilverHawks?
I can look in a minute at the calendar. I don't remember exactly when the next wave of SilverHawks is right now because it's not the front of my mind. Mostly things around San Diego are, but
Mhm.
that vac metal Silverhawk might happen at a certain city that has a certain convention. So
Okay. Okay, there you've heard it here first, folks. There's that
and we
tease.
might have a certain vac metal character for a certain event at a certain city at a certain time. That's vague
Yeah.
enough to be specific enough, right?
Yes, yes, that's good. So wave 6 from SilverHawks is already shipping. And those two vac metal hawks, I've seen beautiful pictures of them. They're nice and shiny. You've also had some vac metal reaction figures, wave 1. Is there another wave coming for reaction anytime soon?
I we've sculpted it. I will say that that wave of reaction figures was not met with a lot of excitement.
Okay.
That seems to be something that people were not looking for. So right now, there's no plans to make a second wave of it, unfortunately. I would love to. I think they
Okay.
turned out great. I think they look
Yes.
amazing on card, especially because it kind of makes you feel like the old toys because they were on card. But yeah, have done, they like the Ultimates, but they didn't really seem to care for the reaction figures,
Okay. Okay.
unfortunately.
So pause for now.
Pause for now. I mean, we have another wave sculpted, but I'm not going to pay to put it into tooling if we don't think we can sell it.
Yes, of course. There was another line that was set for debuting earlier this year, and that was TigerSharks, but we've talked before, and that was pushed. Is that still in the pipeline for somewhere in 2025,
Yeah,
26?
it's still in the pipeline. Yeah, it's just I think everything's been stretched out a little bit. Everything's been, as like I said, as we slim down, then how often things come out gets stretched out a little bit further. So Tiger Sharks is still on the docket. It's just not this week.
We've
Like
got
there's some
something else.
ThunderCats and some SilverHawks that got to come out first, and then the Tiger Sharks are patiently waiting behind them, just going, "Come on, man, get me out of this after school special show. I want my own prime time."
So now there's been a surprise release just like this last 2 weeks with the UK comics and cocktails or cocktails and comics. They have had their Ghost Jaga up for pre-order. Um, and suddenly he just arrived, and everybody in the UK just started posting pictures of this new packaging, which is similar to the new Wave 12 and Wave 11 and Wave 10 with a picture on the front. It's not the foil. Um, this just arrived out of nowhere. So is Ghost Jogger coming back?
We
Have
have
you
gone
seen it?
back and forth so much on this. So I haven't seen this picture from Comics and Cocktails. So uh, I'm not supposed to talk. It's either coming back as a back in stock ultimate because everybody missed it, or it's coming as I thought we had talked about bringing it back as a deluxe so that we kept the one special for ultimates people, but it there's a chance that it's just coming it's like, why are we holding it back from everybody? Let's make sure. And we talked about it both ways so many different times that I don't remember at this point, to be quite honest. So if you're telling me that it looks like it's in a box as like an ultimate,
It
then it
is,
is
yes.
coming back. But there might be a slight change to packaging so that you can be like,
Yes.
no, I got mine originally and it's still the original one. But that way the person can still get the figure and have it and everything else. So
Yes.
I
It's the
the
ultimate one.
last I thought is I could have sworn we had decided to move it into deluxe instead, but I also know that how we're doing deluxe, because it is doing really well, that plan has changed. So it may have been that Ghost Jaga got bumped down the line and they're like, why are we bumping him down for 2 years? Let's just bring him back. So you're telling me something I don't even know about my own stuff coming out because quite honestly, I'm not focused on the things that are not problematic.
Okay.
I worry about
Um,
the things that are on fire as opposed to the things that are
I
not
think
on fire. No, it's fine. It's just like I think we went back and forth. You can keep this part in. It's like I think we went back and forth between remaking Ghost Jaga and Ultimates and making it available for everybody or putting it in Deluxe. I think we went back and forth 10 different times, changing the plan and changing the plan and changing the plan and changing the plan and changing the plan that I don't even remember anymore, which is hilarious.
I suspected when the deluxe line came out, I suspected that he might appear as a painted instead of a clear plastic version. And I thought, okay, maybe the deluxe version will come out as a plain painted one, not see-through. But well, he's coming, so that's cool.
But
I'm glad for people.
Ghost Jaga has been the one that so many people missed and really felt was important because he is kind of a recolor, so he wasn't put out in as wide uh, of a way as the others. I mean, there's a whole that guy that does Motu Comic or whatever did that
Yes,
whole long thing about getting his
yes.
ghost job, which was how could I not send him one after that? But yeah, it's like I'm not trying to make these things expensive on the secondary market, but I also don't want to make so many that now they have to go on clearance. So it's always trying to find that balance. And this one was clearly out of balance. So we were going to bring it back. Like I said, originally to keep the specialness of it, I had planned it for deluxe, but deluxe has gone through so many different revisions based on what's coming out and what we're bringing to market. And same thing here, that I think what happened, if I remember, if I believe what happened, because we talked about it so many, one of the many conversations was that he had been moved out to where he wouldn't have even come out till like late 27. So the team was like, why are we waiting till late 27? Let's just make him now,
Go
remake him and
team.
all. And I think that's where it clearly ended up. But
Well, he's coming. That's good news.
yeah, you're
So
gonna
of
get
course,
Ghost Jaga if you missed him for the first time, and you won't have to pay scalper prices unless you want a
wonderful.
different box.
Wonderful. Thanks, Brian. That's great news. Just like the kittens that we've just got as well.
Yeah, kittens
That's
came back in stock for the exact same reason, because so many people didn't get the kittens, and they were having to pay. It's like I want you to be able to collect the team. I want you to collect the line. I want you to have fun with this. Within, like I can't remake every figure, but if there's a clear significant demand that we've missed, like let's make sure people can get them.
I remember there was one guy that on every post you made, he said, bring back Wily Kit and bring back Wily Cat and Ultimate. And it
Yeah, he
was
doesn't have to
every
post anymore.
he's not posted in a while about that, but it is there are people that missed out, and a lot of people that are not in the US have struggled to get certain figures. So
Yeah.
it's really wonderful to see that they are back. So you can get them now. They're on super7.com if
Yes,
you're looking for them. So
that's right.
Wave 13 is closing just before Comic-Con.
Yep.
And there's plenty of time to get this before Comic-Con starts. So I have to ask you, again, you said this before, but you said that there's going to be 2 ThunderCats items at Comic-Con. Is that still the case?
That is still the case. There are 2 items for San Diego Comic-Con.
And then, of course, there is a
And then
SilverHawks item.
there
No,
is another item that is coming out. It will be exclusive to Amazon. And it will be coming out on the 14th of July. So I don't
price
know.
point?
Well, here, why don't we do this? You have the power to edit, right?
Yes,
So I can talk about it right now. You can cut this part out, pull it together later, and
yes.
you can even keep this part in as like, and then you can, after the 14th, you can put it out there and go, look, we talked about it. So
Let's
you
do
don't
it.
know anything about it. So we're going to get real reaction from Eggman right now, who has no idea what I'm talking about. All right. So on the 14th for Amazon, what it will be is a starting on the 14th of July.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go now. I need to go hustle to get some money because I need to go and get ready to pay for this. For this. That's exciting, and that's just before Comic Con. So I need to know um,
Yeah.
the items at Comic Con. Um, Will they be available on site? Are they going
Yes.
to be pre-ordered as well?
I think
Buy in
most
stock?
everything is going to be in stock ish, meaning I know for we had to pause shipments earlier in the year and delay stuff, and pause production while things were getting really crazy with tariffs when things were at 145. So a lot of our San Diego stuff is normally we want that stuff in by the 15th of June at the latest. We're looking at the 1st of June, it's in warehouse, 15th of June at the latest, so we can sort it so we can ship it to any partners. Like if we've got a shared exclusive with like Big Bad Toy Store, for example, we got to make sure that their inventory is there so that it's ready to go. We've got to ship it down to San Diego. We've got to get it there's a lot that we have to do to get it ready to sell at San Diego. And so this year, I mean, our stuff is literally showing up like the week of San Diego, the week after San Diego. So when I say it'll be in stock, some of it will literally be in stock the week before. Some of it will be the week of, some of it will be the week after. So it's almost impossible for us to bring a lot of it to San Diego.
Okay.
But if you place your order, it'll still ship within a week and you'll get it. So essentially, yes, it's in stock, but technically, like, yeah, almost everything that we had for San Diego got immensely delayed,
Okay.
immensely.
Okay.
But we have
That's
two very cool items coming for you at San Diego Comic-Con. One of them you will be like, I knew they were going to do this. I knew it. I've been waiting for it. I knew it. These jerks. I knew that was coming. And the other one, you're going to be like, I had no idea that was even on the radar. That's so cool.
okay. Can we do another cut here, and then you tell me what it is, and then I'll.
Oh, okay. You want to do that? All right. So,
I did not expect that. You are right. I did not expect that.
yeah.
Okay.
So the
Well,
first one, you were like, I knew it was coming. And the second one is, I did not expect that. That was my job. I told you what was going to happen, and I got the exact response that I knew I was going to get.
okay. So I'm assuming that people are going to laugh now as soon as it's revealed, because then it will be published in here, and they're going to have to rewatch the whole thing. But that's wonderful news. Thank you, Brian. That's really cool. That's really cool. So,
Yeah.
um, then
And then, oh, well, while we're talking about it though, since we're talking about this San Diego, and then our SilverHawks exclusive.
yes, that's why I'm surprised. That's like, why didn't I think of that? That's possible. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. Okay. So now I need to get myself together, because now I'm all excited and I have to focus back on my questions. So,
You have to come back to the questions.
yes.
See now, everybody, we're coming back to the questions because we're taping this in segments. I figured, why not? I've got Eggman here. So I just told him everything that's happening at San Diego. Look at how happy he is. Oh, it's going to be terrible for you. It's going to be terrible having to wait. It's actually going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
Yes.
There are really cool stuff happening at San Diego.
Well, Brian, I'm floored. I'm floored. So I'll focus. I'll try and gather myself here. So,
Let's go back. Let's go back to what we're talking about today. We're going to reel it back to present day. Center
so
ourselves.
You mentioned some leaks earlier. Now there was I believe it's by 14 leaks
Yeah.
that came out. I'm not gonna be naming names, and that must have been disappointing when it happened.
It's more just like we don't know how they got it. It's like you guys are, I mean, so usually we can track it down or we understand like that one. What's crazy about that is that it's not final. They're close to final, but it's not final. And it's just like, how did they get not final stuff? Like, but the internet is a wild and woolly place where people are looking under rocks for everything. So, but yeah, that is a mostly correct sort of summation of wave 14. It's not
Okay.
100% correct on character selection, but clearly we're working on those characters. If you've seen those photos, you're like,
Okay.
so, it may not be. And then there's tweaks that have been made to those figures since. So, it takes a little bit of fire out of like, what are you going to get for wave 14? It's like, I got a pretty good idea of what I'm getting. But
Well,
hopefully people like it. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think of what those figures that got
well,
leaked?
well, I
You
was
like
really
everything.
excited. I was super excited to see King Lino. I was really I've always been hoping for a King Lino. I know Mondo did that with their scaled figure with the little crown thing that he's got on there, and I was just always thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna get a loose cape and a loose head, and we can just plonk it onto the one that we've got. But that he belongs in front because there's that iconic scene from the tune. So I'm really excited about it. Um, I've always known about we're gonna get more Lunatic, so it's good to see another Lunatic. The way
You
that
got to
they
prove
looked
it.
in the tune. Um,
Yeah.
but Wizra is like, wow, okay, good, good. We're getting into those characters. So as long as we get Mamra's head with a headrest, that would be cool if it can plonk onto the normal mummy size Mamra. But
Yeah.
um, I know that was missing there. That's why I know there are some changes that you guys are making. It happened with a ghost Groon that had
Mhm.
the two teeth on, and that was wrong. I mean, I don't know how they got that, but the final version was obviously different and correct. So
Yeah.
would future waves also have super packs again? I
Yeah.
know this
Yeah.
one didn't have, but
This one didn't because it's really mostly about, the Sky Cutter, where the next wave will have uh,
okay.
a super pack.
So the deluxe line, like you've mentioned now, Wave 2 has also hit stores, and Tiger has already sold out on Super 7. You've got the Tiger and Chitara combo that you can still get, but those are really just fantastic figures. I love them. I love Tiger. I've got the Tiger and Chitara on my main display.
Yeah.
The Ultimates ones are on the Thunder Tank on that side, but
Yeah.
there are some questions as to the paint applications and why some areas are painted and why some are not. Could you just clarify to the collector why the Lux figure is the way it is versus what its ultimate counterpart is in terms of
Well,
paint?
obviously, price point is a factor. You know, um, I think there's a miss. If we talk about um, if we talk about the elbow pad, like, correct sculpt is there, and then people are like, why is the pad painted? And it's like, yeah, we went back and forth on a bunch of stuff. Just, we've got to make some concessions to get it to that price point at retail, because it's not like we're really
Okay.
even, we have the ability more now, but when that line was really coming to market, we didn't even have really the ability at that point to sell them ourselves. So, before you even start, it's got to work at a wholesale rate, plus trade discount on top of that. So, you know, it's a lot trickier to get it to that price point, and we can get to that price point mostly because we're reusing tooling. But where everybody's like, I think it's a really tricky line, because I still, as much as like that line is doing well and everything, and where it's really cool to see, it's still not selling like a modern toy line. Like, make no doubt about it. When we're talking about stuff that adults are buying, it does not move the volume the way another toy line. So, like, if we were trying to do this from scratch, it would be much more difficult.
Yes, yes. Okay.
And so getting it out there, getting it to the price, getting it, and getting a retailer, I will say it this way, Target has been great on that. Like, convincing them to take a bet on ThunderCats was a risky move for them. We were the ones going like, trust us, we believe this will work. And they're like, it's a lot of space, two pegs to guarantee sales on this. And luckily, it did work. And so now they have more confidence in Thundercats, which is giving us more confidence. Obviously, Wave Two's out. We planned Wave 3 and 4. We're working on 27 now. Like, what happens for Wave 5? We're assuming it's going to keep going, but it's a really great opportunity, like we said, to get new people into it at an affordable price point and everything else like that. It was surprising to me. I was just at Joe Fest, and how many of the GI Joe collectors were like, I love these ultimates, but it would just be easier for me at 35. I want all the stuff and I want the box and I want all the accessories, but if I could just walk into my store and buy these at 35, I would buy so many more of them. So there's an interesting thing of like, do you make the best version of this toy that you can, or do you pare it down and make it's fine, but it's not as cool as it could be, but that's really a place more people can afford to buy. I prefer all the bells and whistles. I want to have all the stuff. Let's go. But that doesn't mean that that's a place where most people can go.
Yeah.
And it's a make or break for a lot of people, unfortunately. And so, how do we bring something cool to everybody and give everybody the opportunity? So that's really how we're looking at it is, the ultimates are for the diehard collector that wants everything and it sounds wrong to say, but is willing to pay to get it because that's
Yes.
what it
Yes.
takes. It's not cheap and the numbers are smaller that you make. And then deluxe is really for that they're casual collectors sound so negative and it's not meant to be, but they're that person that is like, I'm not going to be there for the pre-order the day it goes live. I just can't. But I can pick up things here and there as I get to them, and price point is much more important to me. And we want to support them too. We want them to be able to buy ThunderCats.
Yes. I mean, I've had conversations with some of my friends as well that they love the deluxe idea, and they would prefer to buy deluxe because of the price point, and because they are not too bothered by the extras and all the bells and whistles. They fine with the figure and the weapon, and that's perfect. So that
Yeah,
is
I'm
there is a
going to rip
market
it
for
off
them.
the card and throw the packaging in the trash.
Yes.
Like,
So
yeah,
whereas I love that idea because it like mirrors the vintage. I love the packaging as well. It like the vintage toy, but I like the little Book of Omens. I like the Key of Thundera. I like all
I,
those funny
yeah.
things.
There's a
So
reason that that's where this line started, is like
yes.
all the stuff, not some of the stuff, all the stuff.
So talking about vintage, you had Wave 1 out now for a couple of months already. You've already teased Wave 2 with Panther and Mamra. And what is the latest on when Wave 2 is coming out? Or has that been delayed as well?
I don't know
Still this
exactly
year.
when it's coming. Sometimes when we get into this, the what's happening in the short term is always trickier for me. Hold on. Let me see if I can look it up. Hold on. Hold on. It's like I know what's on fire right now. Something that's just moving along as it should. I don't always. Hold on. Let me take these filters off. And it's later in the year. It's probably actually getting close to beginning of next year. It depends on where things fall. It has been pushed out a little bit. So
Okay.
I don't have an exact date for you.
Okay. But it's coming. It's coming. It's on its way.
Well, it's been pushed out. Like it's something we're
Okay.
still working on. So
Okay. Another line that we have discussed is, of course, your reaction line, which you have said not has been paused just for a while. But will we ever get the Kittens and Snarf and Vulture Man just to complete the reaction core characters?
um I don't have it on the calendar right now. It's not to say that it won't happen. But it's interesting, like certain things we'll do in reaction and they just go crazy. Like, and then we'll do them in a different format and they won't sell. And some things we do in ultimates or vintage and they sell really well. And then we do them in reaction and they don't. And then some things sells well in all formats. And
Yes.
there's no rhyme or reason exactly to what it is. And I think, at least for what we've seen so far, is that that ThunderCats / SilverHawks person just probably because when they started buying toys, it was after 5 POA really was, it just wasn't something they collected. Um, they're just not as interested in it.
Okay. Well, we can hope that there's a little box set one day in the
Look,
future with
I'd
But
love, trust me, I'd love making reaction figures. So
I know you got me into them. It's your fault.
there,
So,
that,
well, they're
that's
cool. They're
not
cool.
bad.
I like them. I never had those when I was a kid. I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you, so they weren't there when I grew up. I got
Yeah,
ThunderCats. They were cool.
well, that's why we're here to talk about ThunderCats.
So, is there anything else that you would like to divulge or brag
Divulge.
about?
What other secrets can you give me? Come
Yes.
on.
What
You've
do we need
already
to cut
got
out?
two other side cuts that you're going to make for later for the video. And you learned about all sorts of new stuff today, Eggman. No, I mean, I think we've got a lot of stuff coming. Obviously, there's stuff at San Diego. There's something cool on 714. We're still moving forward with SilverHawks. We're moving forward with ThunderCats. We're still got TigerSharks in the works. Like it's all still going. So I just thank you everybody that continues to support the line. We're doing everything we can to keep it going. I don't know when we will cross the event horizon here, but we are definitely getting to the point almost where there's more of this line than the vintage line, you
Yes,
know?
no, oh no, it's gone past it's definitely way past what the vintage in terms of the number of characters. You haven't done
Yeah,
all the vintage line characters yet. There's just like a
yeah.
small handful left, but
Yeah, there's
you
still some things back and forth, so you can argue it one way or the other, but still it's getting to be the most complete line of Thundercats ever made.
yes, yes,
And that's cool.
yes, that is amazing. That's why I'm so happy with this is my office. I'm actually sitting watching this the whole day when I'm working. So it's kind of nice to see the cartoon actually come to life on my shelf. It's really awesome. It's a nice daily routine for me, you see.
Yeah,
So,
there
Brian,
you go.
thank you so much for taking the time to talk. I know you guys are going to get extremely busy now with Comic Con around the corner.
Yes,
And
it
can't wait
is.
to see all those wonderful things you told me that they're going to find out about a little bit later. But that's really
Yeah.
awesome. And
I-
any parting words?
Just yeah, thank you again to everybody. Thanks as always for having me on, Eggman, and having me talk about Thundercats. It's exciting. It's fun. It's a really great line. It's a great figures. It's a great group of collectors. Uh, and it's just like the whole point is it's supposed to be fun, and this is a really fun line. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brian. Take care.